Hi, guys. Welcome back. All right, so let's get into a love tarot story, guys. Hi, it's nice to be back. I hope you guys had a nice Halloween. Yesterday, Saturday, I had to get the rest of the cider, pear and apple cider, squished and made, and that took many more hours than I would ever expect. But it's done now, it's good now. So I'm really happy to be back and kind of enjoying my Sunday with you guys. Lion Queen, so great to see you, babe. All right. In the topic of love, we have a Page of Swords, we have the Seven of Cups, a Ten of Cups, and the Lovers in the reverse. Okay, we got decisions. We have somebody who has been spying on another person, wondering, are they single? It seems like they're single. I feel like I should go make my approach, or I should put myself on their path so that maybe they see me. This, by the way, could be, we have this masculine who might be positioning himself, since he seems to be the one who's doing a little bit of spying, a little bit of wondering, just curious what's going on with her. He may be saying, I wonder if I could put myself on a path where I could, meet up with her. She may be a single parent, but there's this great hope that she is indeed single. That's the way I would read this first, unless things change. And of course, they can always change. Anisha Chat 2. Hi, honey. Renee, GOSC1, Annie S, Nelly. Hi, babes. We got the Four of Pentacles. Okay. If anything, they're wondering, is like this a situation where she is not accepting applications for a lover at all? They don't know what her deal is. Okay, hang on. Do you know her? Or did she close down the door to you? Or is she somebody brand new to you? Ooh, we have the Tower and we have the Ten of Pentacles. Okay. Oh my goodness. So this would appear that these two had it all once upon a time. This could even be somebody that would like to put back together their marriage. They could have been the other half of this equation. Let me double check, because sometimes the Tower is just a freedom from blockages. Maybe this is still somebody who's saying, I didn't know her, but I see her as someone who could be my Ten of Pentacles, my Ten of Cups, and I'm going to have to approach, but I said, did you already know her? And that does look like a Ten of Pentacles, like a whole happy family could have been kind of imploded. King of Swords. Hang on. Okay, so we're going to call him the King of Swords. He's also been the Knight of Swords, or excuse me, the Page of Swords, doing the spying. Okay, so at least now we can talk directly to you. King of Swords, what is it that you're being very honest about? Because you're the one, when we have a King of Swords, he's going to tell the real story. King of Wands, Four of Wands. I still don't know if he already knew her and was afraid up until now to move toward her because he's not sure if she's single. Or maybe he even knew her, because I'm hearing Jesse's girl. Now I wish that I had Jesse's girl. Is that Rick Springfield? I'm also hearing my best friend's girlfriend is at the Cars, and she used to be mine. So I don't know if this is somebody who is like coveted, their friend's lady love. But he says, look, I know she was in love with somebody else, but she's also the person that I ever thought, if she was ever single, I would definitely want to be with her. That's kind of the way this is looking. Am I interpreting that right, King of Swords? Or is it you who's like, once upon a time, she loved me, I really loved her, but for some reason it didn't get off the ground? Because that could be the other thing. Ooh, we have a Five of Cups, we have Queen of Wands. Well, we know a King of Wands made her weep, but I just don't know, was he the King of Wands in the past? King of Swords, are you the one who already had a shot with her? Oh, Two of Cups. So he says, she is the one who's right for me. Whatever else, however else we look at it, she's the one who is right for me. She is my Two of Cups. Okay, that's still sidestepping the most important question, which is, was this already you and her together and then you made her cry? Seven of Wands, he says there was a big old obstacle. What was the obstacle? Death card, some kind of ending. Okay, this is starting to take a shape here, that with the Tower and now with the Death card. And even here with that Four of Pentacles, everything, the doors to the palace have been locked. He's been spying on her, wondering, could I still position myself to maybe see her again, meet up with her again, because this is my 10 of Cups. This is the person I would most want. I hope she's single. I think she might be single. But on the other hand, we do have history together. We have history, and in the past, there was some big old blockage, some big old ending that was necessary. Knight of Cups sideways, he had to quit pursuing her, is what it says, and she walked away. So this is all him. So once upon a time, he had a shot with her. They were a king and a queen of wands together. And then in this case, this is him talking, so I'm not trying to point fingers at him, but he says we were in love. And then for some reason, there's all this loss, this 5 of Cups. For some reason, I had to stop pursuing her. For some reason, even though I was either too far away, she's where I wanted to be. She was my 4 of Wands, but it was like she may as well have been on Saturn. You know, she was so far away and living in a whole different world than me. But she's my 2 of Cups. What was it that made you feel like she was living in a whole different world, a world away from you? 3 of Pentacles. Well, if you were already working someplace else, 3 of Pentacles says he was integrated into something that was very, maybe we could think of this as like a love triangle, possibly. I don't know if it was a love triangle on her part or just on his. We've got that 5 of Wands, but it's in the reverse. He's like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. She was a world away from me because I was already like very sewn up in another situation. What were you in that made it impossible for you to be in her world? We have got the Ace of Wands in the reverse and the Ace of Swords upright. Look, whatever it was, he wasn't passionate about where he was at, but he was also either being heavily watched, and it was very much like if you make a move or make it look like you're going to be leaving, something could go very wrong. I feel like somebody had eagle eyes on him for sure. He wanted to leave wherever he was at, very much so. But he was also heavily monitored for if he thought he was leaving. Yeah, 10 of Swords. This is something he had to follow to the end. Whatever this was, whether it was a relationship, a monetary situation, whatever it was, there was no shortcutting. There's no, I'm just going to leave so then I can go be with her, even though I love her and she loves me. I have to follow this whole thing to the end. And there is this energy of like fallen angel. There is this energy of, we can even see him, head bowed, and he's taken off his jester's hat because he feels like a fool. This is a very painful ending because it's like, I cannot pursue her. I literally can't. I love her. She loves me. She's my 2 of Cups. And I literally cannot move toward her until this other chapter of my life is completely over. So what's over now is the chance that I had with her. I feel like this was extremely devastating. Now, to boot, though, it was extremely devastating for her as well, right? 5 of Cups, and we also saw her stand up with her head held high and walk away, turn her back on this mess, because it's like, and he let her go. He let her go, not because he wanted to, but because there's no possible way he could have kept pursuing things with her. Does she know why all this happened? 2 of Cups sideways. Yes and no. Does she know? Lion Queen, that's a great one. Adele, we could have had it all. Rolling in the deep. You had my heart inside of your hand, but you played it. Yeah, to the beat. Does she know? She knows intuitively a certain amount of things. She knows, I know you loved me, because you said it in the real world and you also said it in the 5D, but that doesn't explain other than you. Yes, I know you loved me. I know that we loved each other. But when I say, does she understand what happened? This is like, I understand that there was love. And I also understand that somehow it either wasn't strong enough to keep us together in the 3D. In fact, instead, we've had more connection in the 5D. You notice how much larger the faces are here than here in the more tangible cups. So it's weird because she's like, I feel their presence, sorry, not present. around me more heavily, which means they still want me. I almost feel like this would be less of that she knows the particulars of what went on and more focused on, or maybe she hasn't even asked all of the particulars. She's more been overwhelmed or enveloped in the emotional side of things, which is like, but they loved me and I feel their energy. They loved me and I feel their energy. She does know there's something that they have to break free from. And it has something to do with pain. It has something to do with, or this is her assumption, they must be unable to pursue me for some reason. And it must have something to do with they've got to heal. They have to do something and then they have to break free and be cleansed from whatever this is. So she doesn't know exactly what the nuts and bolts are. We saw something much more tangible for why he's still, or why he stopped pursuing her or had to stop pursuing her. All right, King of Swords, since this is your tell-all moment, why don't you give us the real deets on this? What was the thing? Oh, I got sideways cards. Serious? Okay. Empress, Four of Wands, sideways. So bluntly, it was an unfinished marriage or a marriage that was over, but somebody wasn't saying that they were going to let go. We do have a child here. The Empress would be somebody that they were married to at one point in time. This could have been a situation that, was supposed to have been a balanced connection. And for whatever reason, obviously, maybe what was balanced about this was more to do with the fact that, oh, we share a child now. And so we both must put in our energy to raise a child. And that could certainly have been why it's like, you don't leave until baby's 18. That could have been the way to look at this, since it said he was like, he had to finish something. He had to go, to a certain point before this chapter of his life would be wrapped up. Like he had to complete something. And we saw the Three of Pentacles. That could indicate the family. It could have been him, the Empress, and the child. Knight of Swords. This is not boding well, even though this is him telling us his story, right? I said, this is your tell-all. And the King of Swords says, I wanted to rush things. I wanted to, it almost feels like he was trying to turn on his blinker long before he could be changing lanes. Let's put it that way. King of Swords again. Here he is. He is owning this. I made a muck of things. I tried to I acted even like I could fast forward things. Now, here's the thing. I want to pause for just a second and say, we're not trying to paint him as a villain. I don't want it to come across like he's like, oh God, if only my kid would just grow up so I could get the hell out of here. I don't get that off of him at all. And I do need to say that because otherwise that sounds really awful. In fact, if anything, it's like these cards are sideways, right? And I think two things can be true at the same time. Two adults aren't great together, but you love your kiddo and you're going to do what's best for your kiddo. And at the same time, it would be nice if your kiddo could understand, but they have to mature and get into a place where they can comprehend why mom and dad might not work out, but the kiddo's still loved. He hasn't come across as a villain anywhere in this, as far as being over the top selfish. Now, this wishing that, there was a way to move forward faster. I don't think he intended to meet a Two of Cups. I mean, what do you do if you fall in love with somebody and you've been in an unsatisfying connection with somebody else, but you have responsibilities, and then, it kind of throws a big old curveball when you then meet the person that you were supposed to be with or feel you were supposed to be with. So this is kind of a tough story to tell because it's like, it can be frustrating. It can sound like, oh, what a jerk. But on the other hand, he's upright each time. And he's pretty blunt about, all the questions that we're asking. So this doesn't seem like somebody who's, trying to weasel out of anything. It's just kind of given the straightforward story. Like, I hurt my Two of Cups because I loved her and she loved me, but there was no way I could pursue her, even though I kind of maybe already did, because I certainly expressed feelings for her. She expressed feelings for me. But in reality, I had other things that I could not walk away from. So at some point, he did reveal exactly what was going on, because we have the Emperor. He did tell That's probably when she walked away with her head held high. That's probably when our Queen of Wands, his Two of Cups, walked away. We see him. I don't think he said right at the beginning, listen, I have, whatever, however many years until my kiddo is all grown up. And I have to stay where I'm at until then. And I can't exactly have a mistress for Christmas, say AC/DC. The Hanged Man. Yeah, it was at some point he did tell his Two of Cups all of this. And it's like, I can't ask you to wait for me either until I can give wholly to a relationship between us. But that's how it is. I mean, that's what it is. He falls in love with this Two of Cups person. And I don't know that he initially is like, whoa, I can't experience feelings for you because I am actually still in another connection. I think it took a while for him to say this part, because this could be, I delayed telling her that. Maybe I was trying to figure out how I could make it work, or maybe I was trying to figure out how to tell her that I just fell in love with you, but I have other responsibilities, and there is no way, shape, or form in how I could speed this and expedite this so I could actually be with you instead. Look, I'm not going to say that he handled things right. We don't know. All I can say is that he's like, if this is his tell-all, he's saying it all, the good, the bad, the ugly. Revealing that this is where I'm actually at. This is going to be a big delay. And I do think, let me ask, were you asking your Two of Cups to wait for you, or were you telling your Two of Cups, I can't ask you to wait for me? We get the Four of Swords in the reverse. I think he thought he was going to set her free, or that somehow then it wouldn't cause her hurt and make her feel unloved. I don't think that you're right. I think it made her walk away. But we had the Four of Swords upright for her in regards to you. She thinks you're the one who has the problem. You still made her feel incredible amounts of pain, but you think that you were supposed to have been able to alleviate any pain and say, don't think it's because I don't love you, because I do, but this is the responsibility that I have. It's interesting because maybe there was no way to avoid pain in this story. We have a Five of Cups upright, and that Five of Cups is like, there we go again. Like, I'm on the other side of the bridge. This is very much like that Four of Wands, where I was like, okay, so why does he think he's like in a different portal, or in, I said he may as well be on Saturn. They're so far apart. And here we are. I'm on the other side of the bridge. I can't get to the castle to be with my Two of Cups. I'm having to be over here. And the red, crimson, fiery, passionate Two of Cups is right behind me. It's like, I'll never forget you, but I also can't be with you. He thought somehow, though, that explaining this to her would also explain like his sorrow, like how sorry he is and what it feels like for him to be on the other side of the river and not be able to be with her. I mean, that seems to be what the intention was here. Yale, you angel. Thank you, Yale. D'Artagnan, Yale, Yippee. You have so many names. You just gifted a membership to Nellie. Nellie, babe, you are now a member courtesy of Yale. Don't forget to check out the members playlist, babe. Every Monday I add to it, and every Monday I explain what we do in the members corner. So I don't want you to miss out, Nellie. You have access to a few extra little fun things that we do over there in the members corner. Yeah, thank you again, love. Okay, so let me take a look. Oh my God, Yale, thank you again. My soul shine, you're also a member courtesy of Yale. So sweet. Thank you, love. You're so kind. Unbelievably generous. Okay, so let me jump back into this, because he thinks that might have helped to explain basically that he is the one who's going to be missing her. Like, I think he thought, I don't want her to have heartbreak because she needs to know I have heartbreak. Did she get that? I'm going over to her now. Did you understand that he was trying to say, I'm the one hurting over you, that I can't be with you? Ace of Swords. I could read that in two ways. This is him telling me he's cutting me out of his life. This could also be him saying, but I'll come back later. Six of Pentacles. Or this is him saying, I'm cutting you out of my life. Like, I don't have anything to give you, even though I wish I could. But I would be asking you to basically give to me when I can't give to you. Two of Cups sideways. It left her with the energy of like, I know that he's trying to tell me that we're Two of Cups, that he feels my energy. God, how many times are we going to get the Two of Cups, right? It seems like every deck. I feel the connection to you. But then, I don't know, for her, twice we've seen it sideways. I almost think I look at that as either shared or diminished. And with that Ace of Swords, it's like there's this truth that you'd like to give to me, but you can't. But you still, want me to know that if you could, you still hold on to the thought of me. But there's this twinge of, but not enough to do something about it. I don't know. There's a little bit of like, I see what's happening. I see what he's trying to say, but also, High Priestess. Okay, let's let her talk. Queen of Wands / High Priestess. What is it that you're subconsciously knowing? Higher self and the Justice card. Okay, so I'm right, I think, in reading it this way. There's this like, I completely understand how this happened, and also F this. Okay? This isn't right. This isn't fair. How you handled it wasn't right, wasn't fair. Almost like, what business do you have even telling me this? You love me, but you can't be with me. You love me oh so much. It's such a spiritual thing that you're going to let me go. You love me, but you wouldn't give me what would be fair and right. Then maybe you shouldn't be allowed to like love me at all, kind of thing. Even though at the same time, she's like, but that's not fair to say it that way either. So again, this is so tough because two things are happening at the same time. This is like, she's a high priestess. She energetically knows you don't control how your heart feels. Her higher self knows, I loved him deeply too. I know he loves me. We didn't set out to have this happen. It's nobody's fault. And then also, FDFFF, all of this. I'm mad at you. I'm mad at the situation. I'm mad at everything. None of this is fair. None of this is right. Why should I even have met him then if this is the way it goes? So I just get to hurt, or I just get to be, I got to go through this? No, I got to walk away from the person who says that they love me. How is that okay? How is that the way this is supposed to go? And yet at the same time, there's her higher self saying, okay, there must be karmic balance somewhere, right? There must be some karmic balance somewhere. Life force energy. So she turns to, like, instead of raging at, the cosmos, she has shifted more and turned more toward energy, more toward like, we can turn frustration and anger, which is powerful, right? Frustration and anger. Think about what it can drive us to do. Power that comes from frustration and anger can make us get on that treadmill and run 10 miles at a breakneck pace. It can make us very, like, if we channel it into something positive, we can accomplish great things. We can become like a crazy, fanatical, worker who just is like, I'm making huge strides forward in my career path because I've got to channel my frustration somewhere. I think she's chosen that path, which is really good, but she's also chosen it, like, I don't know, she could have like really put down roots and built something really stable in her life, put a lot of energy into building something for herself. But simultaneously, she's also like worked better with the flow of the universe. Like, what do you do when you have an excess amount of energy? You got to ground it, right? Think of like a lightning rod. You want to put that you don't want the lightning to strike, your house and destroy everything. You want to channel the energy someplace where it doesn't do harm. And instead where maybe things will utilize the energy and, have greater growth spurts. This is also her becoming more like aware that there's more going on in this universe than just one love story. We have that river of life flowing. And I think what she chose to do, even though I'm not sure that this happened immediately, but I think what she realized she has to do is, you can't you can't rearrange how something is, right? So then you have a choice. How do I handle this? This is fucking unfair. And this is also something that I couldn't have changed it. They couldn't have changed it. So instead, I just have to deal. And if it means I have to deal, then I need to find a way to deal with this in a way that doesn't destroy me, doesn't destroy other things in my life. In fact, I need to take this. If I'm going to get any fairness and balance out of this, I need to make my life fabulous. And this might be the way. It's like the reverse of saying, F this. It's like, it's more like getting frustrated if, somebody takes something from us and saying, you know what, then I can do without it and I'll still do better. You're going to take something from me. Guess what? Instead of sitting down and gnashing my teeth at how unfair it is that something got taken away from me that was supposed to be mine, I'm going to go ahead and win this freaking race anyway. Even if you stole my shoes, I'm going to win it barefoot. And, screw this. I'm going to make something out of what I got, even though you took stuff from me that should have been mine. And I kind of feel like this is her attitude, maybe toward the situation. I'm not saying it's toward the universe and it's not toward him. It's more like, I can't sit around and be stuck. I think she was for a while. That Eight of Swords, I think she was real salty for a while over this. We got all these, little dark feathers instead of angel feathers. It's like, my little guardian angels sure didn't do much to protect me, did they? And I think she was stuck on that for a while. And yet this was her like moment of growth at the same time, saying, I can't sit in this space either. So I have to take the frustration, the hurt. And not only do I have to walk away from the person who tells me point blank, they're not going to pursue anything with me because, P.S., I already belong to somebody else, even though you're the one that I want, which I think that that's harder to hear than like, oh yeah, I'm not that into you. I think that this was more frustrating for her because it does feel like for a while she might have said, where's the protection for me? How come I'm getting cheated out of everything? And if she sat like that for a while, that was a big old burden that she had to cut herself loose from, and she has. Thank goodness. That takes a lot of strength to get to the point where the things that are not fair, the things that we're getting denied, the things that are not ours, yet they're right there. It's like you can have one little lick, but you're not allowed to eat enough to fulfill yourself. Like that just seems mean. But here she is saying, that's exactly the thing I had to get over. I had to not be mad at the failure or perceived failure of my guardian angels that should have helped me to not end up tangled up with somebody who's not available. Or I have to not be mad because look at what I still have in my life. Okay, so that one person who loves me, meaning the right person at the wrong time or the right person and they can't be mine. That's not the only thing that exists in my life. I have so much more in my life than just this one relationship. And I think that's maybe the big burden that she had to cut herself free from, ground her energy, channel it into something better. Because for a while, she spent all of her energy carrying this, I'm going to say, anger, hurt, frustration, feeling of being stuck, feeling like, how am I supposed to move on when the person that I want is out there, but I can't be with them? How do I just move forward from that? How unfair is that to even ask me to do that? Why'd I even have to meet him? That was a big blockage for her. She spent a lot of her energy lugging that, thinking, how do I make peace with this? When instead it's like she didn't have to, she just needed to cut the big old burden and say, it doesn't stop you from living your absolute most amazing life. This is not the only thing in your life that should give you joy or give you frustration. You're supposed to like be unburdened by this because there's many, many other things for you. Okay, that's actually really great. Inspiration of Cups, Inspiration of Pentacles in the reverse. I do feel like she started to channel her energy toward like loving her life, going after the things that she wanted. I don't know that she ever fully turned a page, meaning I think the fact that she loved him still does. That exists regardless. She did not turn a page in her chapter of life and love, but that doesn't mean that she didn't go on to love somebody else in a different way. It doesn't mean that she hasn't found other things to love in her life. In fact, we see her doing a lot of that. We also see her like I don't know, maybe the universe like has sent her a few little subtle apologies, like, I know it hurts, but you'll be all right. We're sorry that you got to go through this component. There could be some things that have washed up on the shores of her life, like unexpected other gifts in her life. Maybe she's had some successes in other areas of her life, even though not in this. Sometimes we don't see all the pieces of a puzzle coming together and how things fit together for us when we're smack dab in the middle. Because, I mean, she definitely got a raw deal on this one. We're not going to even pretend that she didn't. Let's go over, and I just want to ask, how's it been for you? You said, I told her I've actually still connected to somebody else, and that's the way it has to stay. So what's it been like for you? Because you told her that, basically told her, I can't pursue you. You're on the other side of a river from me, and I'm just going to sit here and I'm devastated and missing you with that Five of Cups. How's it been for him? We have the Star and we have the Hierophant sideways. He's done a lot of healing, even while, and maybe this is stuff he needed to heal about himself while he's still in this weird no man's land of being in a relationship that's not entirely like, well, it's not at all the relationship that he said he wanted, but he's been healing. What's the Queen of Cups? Empress upright, Five of Cups. How interesting. Is this a situation where he's actually like started to see the Empress that he was with? And this could actually represent like his child that's growing or has grown. And it's like, wow, I realized that the Empress that I was with, that I've been married to, she has her own, sorrows and everything too. The fact that maybe she wanted something else and she's as stuck with me as I am with her. And she's a great person. And we've created this great child. And I didn't even think, like, maybe she loves somebody other than me. And she's the one who's devastated. Or maybe she loves me and has been devastated over me. There's something here about he's looking at where he's at and considering the other side of things, considering the other person, which I think is really important. We have the Knight of Coins sideways. All of this says okay, so this is a weird thing to bring into this. He had some serious growth he needed to do right where he was. It's the other reason for him to be staying exactly where he was. It's like the universe said, you haven't awakened or had a piece of your character has not fully developed yet. And the only way you're going to do that is if you stay with this Empress that you initially committed to for a longer period of time. And maybe one of his lessons was you need to see her as an amazing person who brought this amazing, young woman, young man, whomever into the world. You need to stay long enough to realize some things. This isn't about you, oh man, what a bummer. Now I've got this kid and this woman that, I'm stuck with when I want to be with somebody else. It's not enough just to stay for responsibility. You should be able to see them as these individual, incredible people. They have their hopes, their dreams, their wishes. Maybe they're not too keen, or she's not too keen on having to be with you because she's missing out on a better life that she would have chosen instead. It just feels like he needed to maybe realize some things. It's not just about, our choices in life, but everyone sometimes finds themselves in situations that are like not ideal. And there's something here about this growth within himself, or something that he needed to heal in himself. I don't know that I'm fully getting this. Queen of Pentacles. Definitely it's about growth. It's about learning how to give more. It shouldn't just be this responsibility. Like, I almost wonder, we got the Hermit. He definitely has been growing more and healing something inside of himself as he's gained greater appreciation or respect or understanding of the people he's currently still invested in. And that's been really important. It's allowed him to get deeper and look at himself a little bit more. In what way? King of Swords. Three of Coins. Realizing this was I thought I only was supposed to be with my Two of Cups, but in truth, I was supposed to be right where I was. This family that I chose before I ever knew my Two of Cups, This is not something to be like, great, I'm stuck here until, when's the timer up? When can I walk out? When can I leave? I was supposed to learn how to give to the connection. I was supposed to learn that I chose this for a reason too. And it was to learn how to actually like maybe either really invest and have like develop deeper caring for the people that, I've built something with. It's like his life has become more profound. Even if he's not exactly where he wants to be, you can still appreciate and admire the individuals in your life. And I don't know, I mean, maybe he's falling in love with the empress that he's with. I don't know. He definitely has a greater sense of respect. We got the justice card. What does that mean? The justice card, let me go over and take a look here. Justice card is, again, Libra energy, 2 of coins. It almost seems like maybe he is saying, oh my God, I had to stay, but now I'm actually falling in love with the Empress. And now it's unfair because I was also in love with that 2 of Cups, the Lovers. Or I'm still juggling because I appreciate the Queen or the Empress more, but now I also have that 2 of Cups that I love. Now I'm in love with 2 people at the same time and I have to pick. I'd pump the brakes and say, I don't know that your 2 of Cups would be picking you. I don't know that it's always just about what you get to pick. But let's just see. 10 of Cups and the Strength card. There is an energy of he has to be honest with himself. Where is my true 10 of Cups? That's still where I need to go. I want to go. But it does seem unfair. I have to say, if we go back to the beginning, so the beginning was I've been spying and I've been watching and I've wondered about my 2 of Cups that I didn't choose. I'm wondering if it's too late. I'm wondering if that door is closed. I'm wondering, he wants to go back and talk to the 2 of Cups, but now I'm trying to figure out, because it's one of 2 things. Either he's saying, how wrong and messed up was it that I had an amazing Empress, we were raising a child together, but I fell more in love with somebody else and I had to learn some lessons, which I learned lessons with them, but in truth, I'm in love with somebody else, which is my 2 of Cups. I can't figure this out yet, but he's going to have the strength to honestly say where he wants to be, where his real happiness is. And right now, I don't know. Is it with his 2 of Cups? He's in this weird space where it's like, I have either developed real respect and appreciation for the Empress, but I'm still, my 2 of Cups is still the person that I'm meant to be with. But I had to learn real, like depth of emotion, a different kind of love maybe for the person that I initially, had a whole family with. I mean, I think that ideally you would always, understand that if you built a life with somebody else, hopefully you always respect them and have, there's versions of love out there. Loving, someone does not mean that you're in love with someone. And what I can't figure out is the fact that he's saying it would have been so much easier if I had been able to be in love with the Empress, but I wasn't. I'm in love with my 2 of Cups. I'm going to have to still choose my happiness. Or is it that I can't believe it, but over time I've fallen in love with the Empress, but I have to go talk to my 2 of Cups and say, I always intended to come back to you because I love you in a very overwhelming way, but I'm staying where I'm at. I don't know what it is that he's wanting to say here, but let's get to it. Woo! Drum roll. I feel like we should change decks. And you know what? Guarantee you it's going to make it murkier, not better. I'm braced for it. Look, I need clarity here. What is it that you've come to the conclusion of in regards to your 2 of Cups? We have the 2 of Wands in the reverse. So he's got absolute clarity. There's no more questioning of, oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, 2 of Wands. We have another card in this deck called the Guide, and it's a little similar. In regards to the 2 of Cups, I'm very clear on something. Knight of Swords, I've been spying, I've been watching, I've been spying. Queen of Cups, which I took that to mean is adult like daughter. and 5 of Cups. It's as if he's understood his 2 of Cups better because he's watched like his daughter grow and has understood, maybe he's seen her heartbroken by somebody that like wanted to be with her but then didn't, or watched her be heartbroken with somebody that she loved. It's weird because he's starting out by saying, I understand completely now something that happened between you and I because I've watched a scenario like this play out. This I keep feeling is his daughter, and I'm gonna like settle into that, or child, doesn't matter if it's daughter or son, whatever. But I've watched my offspring have a love story that was absolutely devastating. And so I understand completely what happened, like to you, to us. Page of Wands, 8 of Pentacles. Also made me understand how much work it takes to get a broken heart healed. Okay. I don't understand what your big cut to it, dude. Cut to it. Sorry, I'm not being very polite. Hermit. Remember, he went on a hermit's journey, but it's almost like he's saying, he keeps saying, but now I also understand that, you know, when things like this happen, you go through this deep reflection. And I'm wondering if he's like, I've spied on you and I've noticed you went through it too. Oh, this feels very offensive and condescending to me. Honestly, it's like, get to it. 10 of Wands, and I see that you let me go. I see that you're happy without me. You don't get to say how anybody is. I'm sorry. I'm just going to speak up here because Sassy Kate has to put in her 2 cents. If this is like his big preamble that he wants to make, to come in and explain with all these words, I kind of feel like, what are you doing taking up her time? What are you doing coming in to tell her who she is, what you've observed about her? I don't know. I find it very offensive. I've watched my daughter go through a heartbreak, which makes me think of you, 2 of Cups, and I can see that you've, oh, no, super unlikable moment. I'm sorry. Wheel of Fortune, and I realized finally at long last, what? It's divine timing. Divine timing for what? 7 of Pentacles, for some more like harvest after this deep dive of this time we've spent apart. And what is it that you're trying to say to her? Queen of Swords and the 9 of Wands. There's some kind of it almost looks like he's saying, and I realized that I couldn't have been in your life because I had to heal some things in myself. I realized, you know, what I put you through, or, you know, what the situation was. But now finally the divine timing tells me that, you know, either we couldn't have been together because I had so much healing that I had to do. I wouldn't have been fit to be with you at that point in time. I can see that you've, you know, like probably let go of me at this point, but I couldn't really have been in your world when I still had so much healing to do myself. We got the card of hope. He hopes what? He hopes what? That the High Priestess will let him come back with the 6 of Cups, or will at least say, I know, I mean, this is a returning soulmate, but does he want to have like a frenzy wensy, or is he trying to say, I want to offer you something that I couldn't have before? He is saying there was no way I could have been with you before, period. That's what I've realized. I want to go back for a second to the thing that was like getting under my skin so much, because I'm like, what is this big, huge, like, I get it. He has to say, you know, what he's discovered. But on the other hand, there was an awful lot about talking about other people. If he's trying to explain how his mind has worked and what he's learned, that does make sense. But the whole, you know, okay, so here's what I'm sure of. I've observed, I've seen my son or daughter go through a heartbreak, and that really got me thinking about, you know, and really helped me to learn more about everything that I had to work on also in, you know, my heartbreak with you, and maybe what I put you through. And I can see that you've let me go, and that you're, you know, I spied on you, which is really, he's not getting points in my book for that one either. I've been spying on you and watching you go through your dark night of the soul that I put you through. And that's again where I'm kind of like, it's cringy. It's cringy. And then we get to that Wheel of Fortune, but now it's all time for this harvest moment. This is the time when I finally realized I had problems too. I wouldn't have been able to be in a Two of Cups relationship with you, regardless of whether or not I had that Empress and my child that I still needed to attend to. Regardless, I could not have been your partner at that point in time. And now I just hope that you would see that also, especially if you've been doing healing. Maybe you've thought a lot about me also, and maybe you've come to the same conclusion, like maybe it's just now time for us. I can understand that bit, and it softens it a little bit and changes the way, because at first I was reading it going like, ooh, don't tell somebody else what you've been observing about them. And this is what because it feels like the way I was reading it anyway, which I don't think was correct, by the way, not when we look at the collection of cards again. But it felt like they were, I don't know, like analyzing this other person when honestly, like a lot of this problem was on their side. And I'm like, you don't get to then sit there and analyze somebody else and imagine what you think is going on with them. But that's not quite what it was, right? I read that wrong. It's more like they're trying to explain how the different things that have helped them to kind of understand themselves better. And it was partially, like observing her from a distance. It was partially observing, something, what happened with their own like adult child as their child grew up. It was a culmination of things that actually helped them to understand themselves better. That's what it comes across as. So it's not that they were analyzing her per se. They were saying that seeing and reflecting on what happened with us, and then having a parallel thing that I kind of watched my son or daughter go through a heartbreak, it made me really think about stuff, and it kind of helped me uncover what my own thing was, that I had some wounds. Okay, that's a completely different way to look at it then. Oh, thank God we got more cards on that one, because I was like, this is taking a left turn real fast. Okay, so if this is what he's realized about this Two of Cups, if this is what he's wondering, and if we go back to the very beginning of the story, which I know was a very long time ago now, that might be why he's saying, I think that the door might be permanently closed. I don't know that my Two of Cups will feel any love for me, as I've spied on her some more and tried to figure out, has she just moved on? But I have to at least check to see, is there a chance for any kind of happiness between us, or does she, has she long since gotten over me? It's like he's saying, I would understand it if she has, for sure. But I mean, especially with all that's happened, right? We saw the entire storyline here. With all that's happened, it would make sense if she's gotten over me. And we saw her, certainly we saw the Queen of Wands storyline, the High Priestess / Queen of Wands. And we saw she was always aware that they were a Two of Cups. She actually did at some point say, he's the one who's got to heal stuff in himself. And I think that was pretty much spot on, because what we see him reflecting on after all this time that he's been away from her, that he stayed in some other connection, he said, I couldn't have been with you, even if I hadn't had the other responsibilities and a, monetary obligation to, a previous family I'd already created. And, and I really should have respected them more and appreciated who they were more. And I've come to that, but I'm realizing that there was a whole bunch of stuff I hadn't healed in me. So jumping ship on one relationship to go and be with you, I wouldn't have been a good partner to you either. I think she kind of knew that at some point, but it didn't help her at one point in time anyway, from hurting over this. But we did see that over time she cut herself free from this, even though we never saw her completely get over him. She never really turned a page. She has loved him all this time, but it doesn't mean that she hasn't gone on to live a great life. But where is she at right now? Because it appears, if we look at how things started, it appears he's spying right now and wondering what would happen if I put myself right there on her path and, was there to see her, to talk to her eyeball to eyeball. Let me just ask, High Priestess, do you want to hear from him? 10 of Wands in the reverse. On one hand, it could say she might say, oh God, I laid down my burdens over this. And I'm going to have to hear about his. We got the Knight of Cups. Does he want to bring me some burdens? Now he wants to come toward me. And it's a very interesting Knight of Cups, because we've got somebody who like turned into stone that's like part mothy butterfly wings, like something that half went through a metamorphosis. She's almost initially going, oh, what will it do to me to hear from him when, you know, I have moved on to a certain extent. Yes, I mean, I'll always still know that he's out there and know that he still loved me, and also know this was a messed up deal. But I've actually had other wins in my life. I've had some happiness in my life. Is this going to give me a setback for him to try to start coming toward me? And is he just doing this because he has his burdens that are, you know, is he going to bring burdens to my doorstep? Because I laid down mine a long time ago. I learned how to still love him, not actually let go of this exactly, but still move forward in my life. Is this going to hamper me? Or is he thinking that I'm still back where I was? I don't know. She's got the Sun in the reverse. She's not thrilled at the concept of him popping in to her life. She's not sure about, Eight of Swords. She's like, I can't go back to that. It doesn't make me happy to have the past brought back up, especially if I got to hear from him and I don't know what the hell he's bringing in. It would be like if somebody who, you know, brought you a present, you know, things started out great, and then one day they come to your house and they bring you a gift, and you open it up and it's, you know, like whatever, a non-lethal stick of dynamite that blows up your house even though you're fine, and you're like, I have to literally rebuild my freaking house. And they're like, sorry. Yeah, I mean, like, I knew what was in the present, but yeah, I gave it to you, and I'm sorry that I had to do that. And it's like, but you blew up my house. And then you're gone, and I rebuild my house. And now, wait, you're coming back again? Are you bringing me another present that's a stick of dynamite? Because, I mean, I can shield myself against it, but I don't even want to put in the energy of doing that. I know that it can be like disruptive for my energy to have to rebuild my house again. You know, like that's the best imagery I can come up with. It's like, you know, if somebody wrecks our house, that's a lot of work to rebuild it. Obviously she's strong enough to survive. There's nothing that's going to be so damaging to her that she won't get through it. But it's kind of like, but I don't think I want to put in the work of having to rebuild my freaking house when I already know the kind of presents you bring in aren't reliable. I don't know if you're going to damage my foundation again, and I'm going to have to rebuild it. Yes, I can, but do I even want to like open up your present? We got that Knight of Pentacles. This would take her a long time, I think, to figure out if it's worth it to either open up a letter from him or to say, yes, I'll talk to you. I think his attempt at talking to her, she might really have to sit with it for a while and be like, I don't know that this is good for me to hear from you at this point in time because of how much, you know, you blew up my house before. 10 of Pentacles sideways. She's going to have to really weigh it and say, I've built a pretty stable life. Would I jeopardize anything that I have in the hopes of, oh, you come back and you make it 10 times better? Or do I have a good enough life right now without you in it? Or am I living life at half-mast because I actually still need this? Here's the tough part for her. She never really let this go. Okay, and we saw that here. She didn't turn a page. They didn't really have any kind of closure. This was always an open-ended chapter. The only thing is she's not sure that she wants to go back and read any more sentences in this story. And I don't blame this character because she seems to be, it's not that he didn't, you know, have problems also because he had wanted to be with her. But I definitely would have to say, if I were going to say who had more, like, they both had work to do and they pushed each other to do some work. But I think that this is the next phase of her, like, personal development, her asking herself, what is good for me. And I wonder if she would have in the past just been like so willing to say, oh, I love this person, so I'll do anything to be with them. And now she's like, whoa, what would be good for me? I know what it's like when you just say yes to other people and what they want because you want it too, but you don't really consider, is it good for me though? See, I'm wondering if this is, meeting him and going through all of this pushed her into this lesson in her own life of, I'm not going to turn anything down out of fear. I'm not fearful. I know I can rebuild anything. But I am asking myself, is my life that I've built already so good that I wouldn't want to bring anything else in to jeopardize it? And honestly, what they could bring me in now wouldn't add so much more to my life that it would make it so much better that it's worth the risk. This is her being really thoughtful, not angry, not anything like that, just really thoughtful. I'm not going to cheat myself out of something I want. 7 of Wands sideways. We just keep seeing her saying, I'm not blocking it. I'm being discerning about whether or not I would want something like this in my home. Whether I need his energy around me, whether he would add that much to my life, or whether this is a wild card best not turned over. In this story, we see her standing here with the 8 of Cups. Do you know what's so crazy? This whole thing playing out this way, and all what we saw before is that she had never fully moved on from this. We saw her walk away from him, but we also saw her never move on from this. The fact that he's coming back in now is the moment where she might fully get closure and be able to walk on from it with that 8 of Cups. This is her saying, honestly, I would rather take a chance on somebody totally different. We have like a new sunrise for her, and we see her looking at the open road and looking ahead in her life, not looking back. In this story, I don't see her saying, yes, come on back. We've learned our lessons, baby. I see her saying, I'd rather go learn some other lessons. 8 of Pentacles, 8 of Cups. 8s are also like, balanced numbers. I kind of think she's saying, I got everything I needed to from what I had with you. I got the hurt, I got the pain, I got the frustration. And I also learned how to ask myself, what's good for me? Universe, do you want to weigh in on this and just say, oh my God, we have so many, I have almost no decks left. Here we go. We'll use this one. Universe, do you want to weigh in for a second and say, just the overview for her? The Lovers, the King of Pentacles. There's absolutely other lovers out there for you, and maybe she's just now ready to really love somebody else who's really stable, somebody who, if this is what she's looking for, somebody who can completely like build with her, ground with her. Remember, one of her biggest lessons in all of this when she was so frustrated was with, just frustrated with everything that had happened. It was like, so they love me, but they're not going to be with me. And I get it, and I also don't get it because it feels ridiculous. But then she had to like really ground her energy. I'm wondering if somehow in all of this, what she has like learned about herself is a 5D connection is useless. And forgive me for saying it that way, because that sounds too blunt. A 5D connection, though, isn't the stuff that we can lean on at night. It's not the stuff that we can talk to when our days are hard. It's not the person who is building any foundation and is there for us. A 5D connection, we could say, is a divine connection, but I think she's like, but I'm an earth creature and I want stuff that's right here. Maybe because she's a high priestess, maybe that's why a 5D connection is something that she ended up, in the first place, because she can deal with and sense the energies that exist in the ether. But I think she's saying, but I don't call it fantasy. And I just say it that way because fantasy is the stuff that we can have in our heads, but isn't necessarily going to become real unless we put in the effort to make it real. And I think the universe is saying it doesn't mean that the 5D connection that she had with them wasn't real, but it wasn't something that she could sink her teeth into. If you imagine a wonderful dish of food, that's great, but it will not fill your belly when you're ravenously hungry. That's when you need an actual item that you can eat. And I just think that for her, she has shifted gears and said, I might be a high priestess who will always have a very connection, powerful connection to the intangible realm, the fantastical realm, the energy realm, but I am also a grounded, earth-based being. And I have learned about myself, I will do better with a grounded, earth-based connection with a person who is right there with me and for me. Now, I know it's kind of like he's saying, well, I could be that person now. But all I can say is that the universe says if this is what she knows she wants, that's who she wants to love. Then look, if they could still give that to her now and she's down with it, cool. But we saw her saying, I'd rather go find some earth-based person that I am yet to meet that can be there with me now. So she kind of had to change gears on what she really wanted. I don't know. Can I get one more? Universe, does that mean that there's any chance for the two of them? Or is she just moving on? She's the Queen of Wands again. She was the Queen of Wands when she loved them once upon a time. If they are coming in to offer her something very real and tangible at this point, and that is what she wants, the universe is saying this could actually still work out great for them if they're here to give a grounded relationship now. But again, a Queen of Wands is our character that is best at saying this is what I want or this is what I don't want. There are other levers up ahead for her if she wants somebody else, for sure. Her biggest criteria is she will never, never, never have a relationship again with somebody that isn't in her world, like available 24/7. And I'm not saying like they cannot leave her side. I'm saying that a little extravagantly to describe they have to be somebody with there's no 5D mystery here. There's no, I want you, but I cannot be with you. There's no more of the longing at a distance. Like anybody she's going to pick, man, they are going to be 100% about her. They are going to be every resource they've got, every thought, everything that they've got that would have to be able and available to be developing the relationship between the two of them. And again, I'm not saying she's like, you have to be crazy about me. You have to spend all your money on me. I don't mean to make it sound like that, but she's ready for an earth-based connection because all she had before was a completely like unsatisfying 5D fantasy connection with somebody who wasn't there for her at all. So no more longing, but can't be together kind of stories. That's I guess what I would say. All right, then universe, hang on, we got to find another deck. Universe, what's your message for him? We'll go with this one. It's okay. Ace of Wands and the Lovers. You notice he's peeping through a keyhole here. The message is to him, as bad as you want her and possibly as bad as she could still want you, she's the one who has to open the door. You can peer into her life for the rest of your life. But once upon a time, you had two people. She may never forgive you for that. She may never, never, never open up the door to you, no matter how bad you want her and wanted her at the time, because of that choice, the choice where you didn't choose to be there with her. Also, the way things started out, I'm going to say his chest was the house of cards, but both of these people, like met with their masks, and she tried to open up to you, and maybe you took a little bit of time to tell her, I'm actually already taken. I'm sorry, this sounds really rude, but this is like as bad as you want her, she'll have to open the door for you. And there's not any amount of, but you see, I really did want to choose you, because the bottom line is the universe says, but you didn't, because you chose two people at the same time. You chose the connection that you already had, even if it was for valid reasons. You chose that, and you wanted to choose her. That could be the reason she'll never open up the door to you. And it will unfortunately be that you will never stop wishing she would open up that door to you. I think, sorry, I don't know. Did I read that right? It sounds really harsh, but we have the 10 of Wands. You may have to accept that she's moved on and you like are the person who is constantly haunting her and wishing she'd look back. You notice that it's holding the mirror and it's like, look in the rearview mirror, please, please, please. This might be their burden to carry. It all depends. She may not open up the door to them again because she may have said exactly what we just said. I know you wanted me, but you also didn't choose me. So in that case, I might just have let you go, and I'm okay with the fact that you didn't choose me, and I'll never get beyond that. And they might haunt her in this lifetime and all through the next, wishing she'd look back at the rear view and say, but I loved you. I loved you. Please look back at the fact that I loved you. I'm sorry, that's a really tough spot because it feels kind of like the universe is saying like, well, this is your punishment, when in fact, I don't think it's that. It's just a blunt, like, look, she might not want you. She might not want you back because you didn't pick her. It depends. It all depends on her, what she feels works for her. She's going to pick what's good for her. That's what we saw over here. It has to be good for me, whatever I allow into my life. Final question from the highest perspective there is. Universe, was this a storyline where these two have learned everything that they had to and now they should just let each other go? Or is there still, well, the universe says Fool card. Finally, we can straddle the chasm. We can step on both sides of this. We can have a new beginning. All of this says anything could happen. We have reached a full completion in this story, and our story begins all over again. The question is, what do they want to do? Because it is going to require a full-on, like, look, if she chooses to say, all right, so now you're going to offer me this very grounded relationship where you're 100% in and you're with me all the time. Yeah, let's do this all over again. Let's give this thing a whirl. It would be like, then we start fresh. If you're offering what I want, then yes, I'll say yes if I want it too. This can also just be the leap of faith to say, there's something else ahead for me. I got over this one. Regardless, the universe says, we need to put an end to this nonsense. It's not nonsense. It's their journeys of the way this storyline went. But it's time to like get beyond what already happened and start living for the future. And I like that as our ending point. The future doesn't have anything else to do with what's already happened, because what's already happened. They both grew. They both have different perceptions. Do have that Prince of Cups. And remember that came out 2 other times in this, where it was like, okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and, gravitate toward her. And then at one point he's like, I can't keep pursuing you because I have this other relationship and I'm not able to walk away from it. The universe just says there's a very good possibility that these two could start fresh. He could start pursuing her. This is the time of his life that he is healed enough, single enough, and able to do that. Can I just ask the universe one question? Since it's already so long, why not one last question? Because I remember when she said this is some BS. We had the justice card there on her side, and she was like, I get it, but it's such BS. Let me ask, because I do have another deck here. Why did they have to meet when clearly this wasn't the right time? Was this so that they could go through these experiences? Because it feels honestly unnecessarily painful to me. But we have a Knight of Swords, we have the Chariot, and we have the Moon. Interesting. The universe says, don't y'all hang that on me. You two jumped into something when you shouldn't have. You two wanted to push things forward fast when you knew you shouldn't have. Or at least in your subconscious. Now, maybe this is mostly on his side. He did come out as a King of Swords. He came out as a Page of Swords. Maybe this is him who leapt into something with her when he absolutely should not have. And it's like, I should have told her what my situation was, because this does say either in the hidden subconscious or the thing that was hidden is that he knew damn well he shouldn't, but he tried to get things started with her anyway. What does that mean? The World card. The universe is just saying, things should always be started um, from a place where things can grow. If you start something and there's no way that it can grow, what are you doing? Always, if you're going to invest energy in anything, make sure it can continue to go somewhere. Plant seeds that you intend to keep watering, or don't plant there at all. Have the like responsibility and like, not everything, you can't just have what you want. You have to be able to say, my action today that I'm taking, what is it going to develop into? I'm going to say on this one, only because she sits here as the person who did not know what was going on, I do think that the universe says he knew damn well he should not have moved forward toward her. She didn't know what was going on. And if he had been mindful of what his actions were going to yield, probably could have already seen all of this unnecessary pain. And we did see him wishing that he could have fast forwarded and, like, I think he fell in love with her and then decided, well, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and part ways with my situation that I've already got. And it was like he wanted to speed that up, only to discover there's no way to speed that up. You have a responsibility. That's the way it needs to go. One more card on the moon. Ace of Coins. Yeah, he shouldn't have moved toward her until he could have offered something to her. She did not know what the situation was or how much this would change the course of her own life. But, all said and done, even if we start stuff that we shouldn't, it impacts us and we learn lessons. And sometimes, that too brings us full circle. Sometimes it slows down some of our progress, or sometimes it makes us, go on some detours, but eventually we come around full circle again anyway. But yeah, there was some stuff that she didn't know. And then you notice that her big lesson that she got out of this, what changed her, is that she now asks herself, what's good for me? I don't let anything in that isn't something that'll be good for me. If I feel like I don't think I need him back in my life for any reason, because I don't know that it'd be good for me, she won't do it. She knows that there's other people out there. But there is still a really good chance that she would still want him. But all of this, the universe just says this wasn't supposed to actually happen. This person should have practiced self-control and not gone toward her. He knew he shouldn't, but he rushed things and did it anyway. And she didn't know that was going on, but it changed her life. And in truth, it's all right, because we still have plenty more years for both of them. We have the World card there. They both get a second chance at everything. It's like if he had just delayed in the first place until he was single and then approached her, maybe they'd be at the same exact spot. Him wanting to come toward her and ask her out. The only thing is now they have water under the bridge. One last card on the Chariot in the reverse. 7 of Coins, the Hermit, the Justice card. Everything just keeps saying the exact same thing. He knew, I shouldn't move toward her. She is somebody I want to be with at some point, but I've got some stuff I got to sort out in my own life. I got to make sure that I don't create imbalances. So, he didn't do it that way. He started something with her that he couldn't follow through with. There was a lot of hurt and pain, but she didn't come out without a win. The win is she knows how to ask herself, is it good for me now? She does things differently. It changed her. Maybe we could say it hardened her, but I don't think so, because this is a great card. An Ace of Pentacles is a terrific card. There's nothing about it like now she's, embittered or anything like that. She's in a place where maybe she's asking herself a question she should have always asked, which is, what is it that someone's offering me? She might be a little bit more slow to welcome somebody into her world, but she was a high priestess, but also a Queen of Wands, very intuitive, but also somebody who needed to get really good at picking what she wants. So I don't know. I would just say that these two, I know it was a tedious maybe storyline on this, but they did both come out a little bit better, all said and done. I don't think they needed to do this in order to get to this point. This does seem like there was a lot of wasted time and energy. Like this was a lesson that didn't need to necessarily play out the way it did. But then again, they met each other, they fell in love, and maybe because of who they were at the time, maybe this could never have gone a different way. Sometimes it doesn't bear saying, well, this was wrong, this needed to be done different. Sometimes it's just like, this is who we were, these are the tools we had to work with, this is how we handled it, this is the stuff that we walk away from this with, and let's keep moving forward. Because this story is definitely, with the World card and the Fool, it's definitely time to quit hashing over this and just get on with life, whether it's going to be the two of them trying it together or whether it's the two of them moving forward separately. So, oh, that was a lengthy one. Hey guys, so good to see everybody. Ginger Montague, Dwanette, Silver Linings. I love that, Silver Linings. Absolutely. It's all just learning. Don't squander any of it. I love that. Hi, Chrissy. Monkey Experiment. Wonderful to see you. Crystal Suzanne. Hi, babe. Anna Lee. Hi, hun. Delighted to see you. HKSS. Comsey, that sounds amazing. You're making blueberry pancakes. Yum. Ken Ramey. Awesome to see you. Ken, you're so awesome. Yes, the cider. Oh man, it was a lot of hours of making ciders yesterday, but it was so worth it. We had a lot of pears and a lot of apples. Queen of the Universe, wonderful to see you. No do-overs, I hear you. Hi, Andrea Live, or Andrea Live, excuse me. You guys, thanks so much. It's nice to see everybody. Hi, Sheila Thomas. Awesome to catch you. All right, you guys, I'm going to bounce out of here, get on to the other channel, and start doing some of our zodiacs. No filters, Mon. Hi, honey. Yiffy, I hear you. Kiki Halsey, thanks for being here, love. SS Amazing. Bobby Harris, hey. Feast Mystic Faith, so good to see you, babe. Starfire Sag. Q Miller. You know, I blend the two, Q Miller. It's pear and apple together. And we've discovered that everybody loves it that way. So we do them all together. And it's like the ratio is like 1 pear to 5 apples. And, you know, I keep doing that ratio until I fill these gallon jugs. So we had a lot of gallon jugs to fill. Castor Rerain? I'm so sorry. I know I just botched your name. I'm so sorry. Just one spark. Hi, babe. Thank you again so much, Yale. That is so generous of you. Sky Cole. Hi, honey. Cholita in Chicago. Hi, babe. Hi, Ruth. Farrell Rust. Awesome to see you. Hamida Bano. Hey, babe. You're so cute. Thanks, Hamida. Hasgari. Hi, babe. Hi, GR. Spiritually Awakened. Motor City Mama. Happy Sunday to you also. Love33. Hi. Champer Sync. Ramon. Annie S. I know, right? Hi, T-Baby. And again, welcome, Nelly. Waste Goddess. Candymon. Hi, guys. Hi, Renee. Lion Queen and Anishta, Renee, GOSC1OP. You guys were all the first in the house. Thank you guys so much. Nice to see you all. All right, I'm going to bounce on over to the other channel and we'll get busy on some more of the zodiacs. My goal is to get pretty much all zodiacs done today. So lots of love. Thank you guys. Bye for right now.